So we're all looking at Merrick Garland and his silence as it relates to the investigation into the insurrection that took place on January 6th, right? And we're looking at the lack of arrests that have been made as it relates to the inner circle of Donald Trump and those in Congress. And we have been thinking that Merrick Garland isn't coming through. There's politricks happening here. There's this facade given to us that the January 6th committee is doing all of this investigation, and we're going to get to the bottom of this so that people can be held accountable, right? Merrick Garland and the January 6th committee is playing all of us. Let's talk about it. So I stumbled across this article from NPR this morning because I was just wondering if anything was happening on the Justice Department side. Merrick Garland came out and publicly said that he was paying attention to all of the hearings, that he was going to be watching all of the hearings. It was also stated that Merrick Garland said that he had investigators there in the room at all of the hearings. And I wanted to know what type of steps were being taken by the Justice Department as it relates to the January 6th hearings. And this article from NPR came back titled, "The Justice Department wants to see the January 6th committee's transcripts." Article was released yesterday, January 15th. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, yesterday, January 16th. And so I was like, well, that's interesting because it looks like Merrick Garland is interested in all of the information that's being put out in these hearings by the January 6th committee. Let me read into this and see what's going on. I read the article, and I'm learning that they have requested these transcripts from the January 6th committee. This is their second time requesting it. But the January 6th committee is not producing these transcripts to the Department of Justice. Politricks in the divided states of America. Here's what I got in today's Politrick news. I will put a link to this article down in the description box so you can go on over and read it for yourself. You don't 100% have to believe what I'm giving you. You can go and read it for yourself. This is what NPR is reporting. The Justice Department has asked the lead investigator for the House January 6th Select Committee for speedy access to the transcripts of witness interviews, arguing the lack of information sharing is complicating its ongoing criminal probe. The Department of Justice officials have renewed a request they first made in April, before the panel launched blockbuster public hearings in which they quoted from prosecutors' court filings and played videos featuring defendants in an ongoing seditious conspiracy case the department brought against the far-right Proud Boys. So the Department of Justice is doing their investigation. The January 6th committee is doing their investigation. The January 6th committee has videos and witness statements that apparently the Department of Justice does not have. So they're requesting this information from the January 6th committee. The January 6th committee is yet to produce it. Why is that? The committee will turn over transcripts in due time, but not by the end of the week, Chair Benny Thompson told reporters after Thursday's hearing, where their first request was at the beginning of April. We're now in June. So you mean to tell me since the beginning of April, you weren't able to provide the Department of Justice with their request? Yeah, no one is expecting you to be able to provide information at a week's notice. But quit playing, Benny Thompson. They first requested it at the beginning of April. They clearly found out that you have information related to their investigation and requested that you send that over, and you have not done it. Now you've got these hearings, you're providing this evidence, and now they're like, okay, we didn't get an answer to our first request, so let's request it again. And now you're trying to schmooze it over as if you weren't given enough time. What? Y'all should be working together. So if the Department of Justice is requesting information that you got, they've got interest in the information. Provide the information. Why haven't you done that? Quote, we will work with them, but we have a report to do. We are not going to stop what we are doing to share information that we've gotten so far with the Department of Justice. Why can't you do it in conjunction with what you're doing? You have staff, right? Right? Y'all, I'm confused. The transcripts will be critical to help prosecutors assess the credibility of people they consider witnesses or subjects of investigations, wrote the U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C., and the Assistant Attorneys General in charge of the Criminal and National Security Divisions in a letter dated June 15th. This is the second request. Quote, grand jury investigations are not public, and thus the Select Committee does not and will not know the identity of all the witnesses who have information relevant to the department's ongoing investigation. The recipient of the letter is Timothy Hepfee, the chief investigative counsel for the committee, and himself a former U.S. attorney during the Obama administration. The delay in getting access to the transcripts complicates the ongoing Justice Department criminal probe, already the largest and most complex in history, the DOJ officials have said. At least 2 Proud Boy defendants facing trial on seditious, conspiracy, and other charges have cited the congressional hearings as a basis to postpone their criminal trial in Washington, D.C. from early August until after the midterm elections this year. So these Proud Boys members who are being charged with sedition are requesting that their trial be put on hold because of these hearings that are being put on by the Select Committee. It's all a game. House investigators so far have refused to turn over transcripts to the Department of Justice, but instead said they would be released en masse in early September. That slows up the prosecution for the Department of Justice if the Proud Boys defendants are citing what's going on with the hearings. I don't understand why the Select Committee can't hand over information in conjunction with what they're doing. You can't do two things at once. A judge has not yet ruled on a request to delay the Proud Boys trial. So a judge is reviewing this request, has not ruled, but this is slowing things up. This is creating gridlock. Quote, while we do know precisely when copies of the transcripts will be released, if they are released as anticipated in early September, the parties to this trial will face unique prejudice because the jury for the August 8th trial will have already been sworn. The jury. He wrote in court papers filed on Thursday. You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like when you have, let's just say, a murder investigation taking place at a city level or state level, and the FBI comes in to do their part of the case, but can't do it until state or city law enforcement agrees to cooperate with the FBI. I don't understand. I'm not in law enforcement. I don't understand why all of these people just can't work together to get the job done. All of this, what they're doing is creating gridlock and possible charges being thrown out based on what I see. Y'all let me know your thoughts. They both playing with us, y'all. Department of Justice is playing with us, and the January 6th committee is playing with us. I'll see y'all in the next one.